I'll know your history. He's saying stats from games 30 years ago. Y'all are talking about stories. A lot of times when you look at how journalism is evolving and how the conversation is evolving, a lot of the conversation is coming from social media or coming from people that weren't that era. So even me, I'm just being honest. When I said, look, my first encounters with Space Jam and I was turned up about Mike. Like I knew every song on the album. You brought up something interesting about reasons that Bill Russell is great. You said he had a social sense and tone and different things. So it's almost as if that's what starts to build out a player. You start to look at, so is that what people didn't like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? People didn't like Kobe. So when you start to talk about the greats, the reason that LeBron jumped in front of people quick is because he was so likable. But Kobe really was a killer. Like, that's one of the players that I would just watch his stuff. And I would watch when he's not with the ball. Like, I like to watch when players don't have the ball in their hands, what they're about to do. Kobe was one of those players that you could just tell. He was one of those players that you could tell he knew the play that was coming on defense. You could tell that he had spent hours. Like, you could just see it as a player. Like, he knew that play was coming there. He knew that this guy always tries to block it there. He knew the thing he was going to do before he even, the other team knew it. Right. And so that's what I just, a student of the game is the ultimate compliment I think you can give somebody, and he really was that.
I once did a thing with him with ESPN. We sat down and watched film of Oscar Robertson. And he said, I stole that, and I stole this. I'll tell you this, in my 40-plus years, Kobe was the most intelligent athlete I have ever covered in my life.
That's it.
Wow.
So smart.
Over Jordan?
Yes. Intelligence. I'm talking about intelligence. And Jordan's very smart. But this guy his insatiable curiosity about everything. And, when he got later in his career, he went down, he spent 4 days with Akeem Olajuwon to learn how to take care of people in the post. He called Larry Bird on the golf course to find out how to manage when you say something bad about your teammates. Remember, Larry Bird called his teammates sissies. He called Larry Bird on the golf course to find out about that. He called up Dr. J to find out how to be a magnanimous leader. Yeah. He called all these guys. He and of course Jordan was his ultimate. He's calling Jordan at all times of the night and day. And Jordan told me recently, he said to me, I would talk to him for 2 hours at 2 a.m, and I'd hang up the phone and I'd say, why am I telling him all this? I never told anybody else any of this. Why am I telling this kid all this? Because he knew that Kobe was sincere in his pursuit of greatness. And that sounds kind of cliche. Yeah. But Kobe was like Jordan in that he was obsessive about being the best.
The idea is a very simple one. The Mamba mentality simply means trying to be the best version of yourself. It means every day you're trying to become better. And it's a constant quest. It's an infinite quest.
Kobe was never satisfied. He was just never satisfied. As part of his obsession was to never be satisfied with 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings. Didn't matter. He wanted more, and this is what motivated him. This is what pushed him. This is what, in a way, kind of alienated him from some of his teammates, because he had this sort of idea of greatness, of relentless pursuit of greatness, that other guys might not have had that same relentless pursuit.
Bryant for 3.
He would ask me for photos of some of the greats, the muses, he called them. So he would ask for photos of Michael, and specific photos, Michael playing defense, or Larry Bird's jump shot, or Isaiah's sort of dribbling, Allen Iverson's kind of crossover thing. And I would make him prints, and he would hang them in his locker. I didn't know what he was doing with them, honestly. But then once we started doing our book together, he explained to me, he said, I asked you to make me those prints because I would study everything about what was going on.
Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School.
He was a person we had all seen grow up, mature, succeed, fail, move on, become a father. We could all relate to something in his life that as a human being, and he truly transcended sports. It was amazing to me, the outpouring of creative love immediately upon his death. I mean, all over the world, in the 4 corners of the world, muralists were simultaneously putting up murals. I don't think in the history of the world any public figure really ever elicited that kind of creative love, expression, grief, whatever you want to call it, at the same time. It was really amazing.